And all right, and we're live and we're recording. Well, guys, I know this is typically your call, a life on purpose, and I think it's important that we get some purpose with respect to our understanding of how to interpret the business from the point of view of the quadrants. I've gone over this before, but I'm still seeing in the chats and in the dialogue some conversations that tell me some of you are stuck. And it may not be you guys on the call, maybe others, but the point is, I can tell when somebody's coming at this from the E quadrant or the S quadrant and not the B quadrant. And it's not a surprise. I mentioned this before. It's a journey. Your first year in network marketing is a book. I'm in it. It was written by Mark Yarnell. It's called Your First Year in Network Marketing. I was actually written up as the exception to the rule. But anyway, the rule seems to be your first year in network marketing is the year where you skin your knees and you chip your teeth and you do all the things that you do as you're starting to understand what works, what doesn't, and what business are you actually in. And some of you are not there yet. Obviously, some of you on the team that are watching this, the playback, are quite new. So you have not done that yet. You have that to look forward to. Or you can listen very intently on the words that I use and how I use them, and some of the others who've been working with me for a while, and start to understand that there's a reason why those words are chosen. They set up a tone, they set up a context, they create an awareness, and they come from a place of awareness. So let's talk about how our business is a reflection of cash flow quadrants. And I'm going to do that by sharing my screen and showing you one graph. That's it. That's all we're going to talk about today. So you guys have seen this before. It's in my business presentation, but it needs work. It needs some time to digest a little bit better, because usually I go over it in about 3 minutes and not even. So our business is very similar to cash flow quadrants. Cash flow quadrants talks about employee, self-employed, and business owner and investor. By the way, about 2 weeks ago, I guess now, I did the Nikken kickoff call. I did a segment on the Nikken kickoff call. I posted it on your group chat, and I told you the time mark. I think I'm at the 31-minute mark is when my presentation starts. Please watch it. I encourage you to watch it. They asked me to speak about teamwork and teams, building a team. Such a great emphasis on that right now, and such a need for understanding. Right now, I see a lot of you operating individually, operating independently, kind of off in your own world and doing this and doing that. And my job here is to help you get on the fast track. That means I would consider my $25 million in earnings in network marketing enough to get your attention, but it seems it's not. So we're doing this call again. You don't earn that kind of money by accident. You earn that kind of money because you're on purpose. And I was on purpose starting day one. I didn't putz around for a year. I made $250,000 my first year. And so I want you to understand that when you know this business, like the back of your hand, when you operate from a certain context, you're going to create a certain result. And if you haven't done that already, you can shorten the time curve. I mean, you can't ignore it altogether. You can't bypass it entirely, but you can shorten it by listening to some of these concepts that I presented in the team call, or my segment of the team call, the kickoff call this past couple weeks ago. Watch that. It's only about 10 minutes, if that, but it's important information, because it really talks about what it means to be a team player and building teams. And that is a shift in consciousness that has to happen if you're going to move through these quadrants. You have to learn that concept of collaboration, teamwork, and how to be a team player, which not everybody is, and nor have you been conditioned to be, for that matter. So what have you been conditioned to be? For the most part, if I was throwing a dart at the wall, there's a good chance that you've been conditioned to be an employee. If you have any degree at all in education, you've been conditioned to be an employee. You don't learn how to be self-employed by getting an education. For that, you have to actually get your education in the business community, in the business world, or cut your teeth on starting a business and learning what it feels like to be in a startup situation and so forth. So How do we get from the left-hand side, which is the majority of the population, which is what you're conditioned to be, and understand your Nikken business can transpose you or bring you over to the right-hand side, which is business ownership. There's a book called The E-Myth. In that book, I think it's Hoffer, he says that if your business requires your presence, you don't have a business, you have a job. So how do we get to a place where our business doesn't require our presence? It's not something that you do at a moment in time where I transition from not requiring my presence or by requiring my presence to not requiring my presence. That's not how this works. You start at the beginning by doing the certain thing, and that certain thing, when duplicated, creates the condition. So what is that certain thing that we want to learn how to do sooner than later, and spend less and less time on the things that cause us to remain in the left-hand side? So let's go back to this understanding here. How do we get from the left side to the right side? We need to switch from activity of trading time for money to activity of building a business, building an asset. So let's just think about that for a second. The activity of trading time for money. When we look at Nikken and the retail model, is that not exactly that, trading time for money? I mean, how many people on this call have their door breaking down for people trying to buy products from them from Nikken? Nobody. So you can either become somebody who becomes really proficient at, I don't know, search engine optimization. I mean, my best guy who does search engine optimization, you never see him on any of the Nikken calls. He doesn't have a team. He does win incentives every now and then just through his retail activity, but he doesn't have a life. He sits behind a computer doing search engine optimization. Does he make money? Yeah, somewhere between 5 and maybe 10,000 in the best month, but on average 3 to 5,000 consistently. But that's a job. That's sitting behind a computer and creating search engine optimization strategies and, you know, massaging this and massaging that. So that's a retail model that works. But is that what you want? Just an income, or are you looking for more? If you're looking for a lifestyle, you've got to make the mental shift. I'll give you another example of what an E Quadrant retail model thinking is. When you're always majoring in the minors, what do I mean by that? Well, if all you're thinking about is the details of the products, the price of the products, what can Nikken fix, what can Nikken do this, and did it, that's a complete waste of time and energy. Your job is not to invent the products. Your job is not to modify the products. Your job is not to coach Nikken, a 47-year company, on how to run itself. Your job is to take what they're giving you and leverage it. Create for yourself a financial future, create for yourself an income stream, and so forth. But if what you're going to do is invest your time and energy trying to understand Nikken, you're wasting your time, your energy, and you're stuck. And you won't get unstuck until you decide to be unstuck. And I see that a lot. See a lot of people, you know, why doesn't Nikken did it? Why doesn't Nikken did it? Say, well, tell you what, how about this? How about you generate billions of dollars in sales, millions of satisfied customers in 4 continents, be in business for the next 47 years. And when you've done all that, why didn't you then advise us on what we should do different? In other words, you can't compete with the success that this company, this model, these products have already had. Why are you wasting your time doing that? Don't. Your job is not to do that. I don't care how curious you are. I'm an aerospace engineer. You don't think I was curious when I got started? And I'll tell you what aerospace engineers do when they get started in a business like this. How do magnets work? What is it that they do? How does it improve circulation? What do they do? And so forth. And you can go down that bunny trail, like many of us have. And we came to a conclusion. We started teaching. This is what we started teaching. High tech, low check. So repeat after me. High tech, low check. What do we mean by that? The people who need to know everything and have to go into all those details don't ever make any big money. So you've got to start making a decision about what do you want to create. If you want to create big money, stop doing what you want to do. Stop doing what you think about doing, because your thinking process has only led you to where you are currently at. And if you need to get out of that scenario into a bigger scenario, it's not your thinking process that'll do it for you. You've got to tap into the thinking process or the consciousness of people who've done it. How about learning from somebody who's made $1 million a year? You think you might learn something from somebody who's done that in the business that you're striving to, succeed at? If you can make 2 million a year, great. If you can take it beyond where I've gone, great. But why don't you get to where I've gone first before you start inventing that future? So there's some things that we need to make in our head to humble ourselves to a level where we're willing to just listen and not interpret and not just listen. Just listen. Non-judgmental. Just listen and learn. Allow yourself to absorb what is before you start challenging it and facing off with it and so forth, because it's expended energy that gets you nowhere. There's talk about right now, oh, what about this company that sells this water filter or this water filter or that water filter? Who cares? Do they sell sleep systems? Do they sell nutrition? Do they sell everything else that we sell? No. Do they compensate you on 6 generations of leadership? No. So why are you investing time and energy in playing Monopoly in the small leagues? Start learning how to play in the big leagues. And the big leagues are network marketing. It's not retail. It's not franchising. It's network marketing. So I want to be the guy that you can lean on to push against when it comes to challenging those questions, rather than the questions of the products, for instance. Again, sell what we have. What we have is done pretty good. And can it improve? Sure, but it's not your job to improve it. It's the company's job to improve it. And believe me, they're working on stuff like that you don't even know about, products that you haven't even seen that are coming down the pike, that you're not even thinking about. So why waste your energy doing somebody else's job? Just do your job, which is build an organization, leverage everything Nikken puts on the table and utilize it. By the way, just a heads up, you're not supposed to know this, but you will soon enough in July. There is going to be a July through December special incentive program launched for Japan. So if you guys haven't been keeping up with the Joneses as far as Team Kaizen or Team Taishi in order to qualify for that trip, and you think you're out of the running because you haven't met the conditions on a monthly basis, got news for you. Every one of you can now qualify for that trip to Japan. And man, what an experience it would be if you all went together as a team. Holy crap. I tell you, you'll never forget that in your entire life. It'll be one of those things that you'll never forget. So that's coming. Now, to orient you, to get you ready to really propel yourself so you can take advantage of what that incentive looks like, we're going to have to break some paradigms. We're going to have to move you past your current limiting beliefs, which are based on your current experience, which is based on your current way of thinking, just based on your current actions, and so on. We have to make that shift. So the shift is get you out of the retail model. That's not to say that retail doesn't matter. It's to shift your focus. I get retail sales every month. I did over $2,500 in retail last month. How many of you did that? I didn't look for a customer, not one customer. I never do. And yet here I am generating retail. How is that possible? Because retail for me comes as a consequence of what it is that I actually do, which is look for partners. And so you can't help but start to build retail sales when you expose people to the products. But the question is, are you exposing them to the products because you're competing in the water industry, or are you exposing them to the products because you're showing them what wellness looks like correctly, the total wellness approach? The idea that Nikken is a way of life, not just a product. It's not a transaction, it's a transformation. It's a pathway to more if they're interested in knowing more. It's about balance in the 5 pillars. Tell the story, the whole story. So shifting out of the retail focus, the retail engine, is something you need to do quickly and want to do quickly so that you can start to grow a network, because nobody, and I mean nobody, wants to sell products. People love to buy products, but nobody likes to sell products as a rule. You might find a handful of people in 100 people who actually like to sell. Most people like to buy. So again, that's a shift in thinking. How can I generate such a huge organization of sellers when nobody really wants to sell? Well, the question is, what are you asking them to sell? If you're asking them to sell a product, and that's all you're talking about, and that's all you're thinking about, and then you're starting to look at how does this product compete with that product in the market, you've missed the entire point. Nikken is a total wellness solution to achieve balance in the 5 pillars of wellness. We have many different products. You may be interested in one in particular, which could be the starting point of your wellness home journey. But the real item here is freedom. You want to know more about that? If you want to know more about how you can obtain freedom, leveraging this beautiful system, these beautiful technologies, let's have that conversation. And so now I'm talking about the right-hand side. So moving on, back up. So we need to shift focus and have conversations that are inspiring people, and then invite them into a process of education that validates that information, that validates what you're sharing with them. Now we're talking network marketing. Okay. So any questions so far, especially as it relates to the retail thing? Because I want to really get this on the table so we can have this dealt with once and forever.
I think you explained it really well, how we're not just focusing on one product, but the whole wellness thing. And I think that our group chat definitely that's a good reminder for sure.
Well, Sam, let me ask you, you have a good retail business. You've done a lot of retail through your warm market and so forth, associations. Is the water product the only thing you sell, or have you sold other products?
Yeah, sold other products. I definitely I think it's the mindset where I think it's easier to sell people on a product as opposed to trying to talk to them about the freedom aspect, and really shifting their perspective is kind of the scary part. And I think that's kind of where I get stuck, where it's easier for me just to stop at, explaining how great the products are and all the things that come with it, and getting them started on their health journey. And then taking it to that next step is kind of where I struggle to integrate it into the conversation.
Okay, well, let me tell you, if you were approaching me, okay, who you would definitely want in your Nikken business.
Definitely.
And you approached me to sell me a product because you thought it's easier to talk to Mike about that. Then what do I see you as?
A salesperson.
So if you say, then you should look at this, Mike, what do you think I think you're asking me to be?
Consumer.
No, if you sell me a product, if you approach me to
she
sell
said
me
a consumer.
Yeah, no.
You think that it's a salesperson, essentially.
You're trying to get me to be a salesperson.
And people are like, I'm not a salesperson.
So if you're coming to me to sell me a product because you think it's easier for you to approach me on that, and okay, great, let's go down that path. I buy the product, and then somehow you're trying to get that conversation going about the business. You're finding it hard because the truth of the matter is, what you just showed me is your business. You think I want to do that?
Mm-hmm.
See, your actions tell me what you're doing. And then if you're suggesting that I got to do what you're doing to be successful, and that's not something I can identify with, you lost me before we even started. So there is two pathways that are very clear and very distinct, and they do not mix. You either approach somebody on the merits of the product and build a customer relationship with them and drip on them. And that's a long process that maybe might turn their head at some point, 1 in 20, 1 in 30. But if you approach a business prospect, somebody who you have a very direct intention with to explore the possibility of this as a business, will you not eventually get to the products? Will that not eventually become part of their exploration? So we can always go there, but first you need to frame it in a way that I can see myself doing what you're doing. If you do that from the beginning, if what you do from the first text message to the first phone call to the first link you send me, if what you're doing shows me a path that I could see myself doing easily, then I'm more likely to choose to do that, especially if the payoff is big enough. So go ahead.
I just wanted to add another question because I think you like hit a really good point in what our conversations were, but some other questions that came up that I wanted to bring up was a curiosity around, like, there was a lot of conversation and curiosity around like wanting to know, like from a customer point of view, like let's say a customer was coming to you and people were wanting to know how to market their product when there's competing products that have lower prices and, show similar functioning. And they're wanting to know, and like people on the team are wanting to know, like, details of what makes our product different. And of course,
that's the wrong question. That's the E Quadrant question. The business builder doesn't compare themselves to other people. They never do that. You can go around knocking everybody else's building down, or you can just build the tallest building if you want to build the tallest building. So we don't do that. You don't go around knocking other people's products or trying to find an advantage over other people's products. You share the benefits of your product. You sell them on the merits of what you've experienced. You get them wanting what you got.
I think part of it also is the fact that like we need to start to treat this as not any ordinary business, because I do agree. If you were to build a business from the ground up, you as the business owner would have to find your place in the market. You would have to find your position in the marketplace. That requires you to look at competitors and to do your research. We don't have to do that. We have Nikken with its 46-year-long legacy that's already done all of that. So we're making it more complicated for ourselves by trying to do the extra work. When like my uncle had said at the very beginning, that's not our job here. That's the whole purpose of what makes this business so feasible for the average everyday person. You just got to do your job. And by the way,
that mindset is still in the, it's not the business ownership mindset. That mindset, the fact that you think you're competing with other people that make this product is not the mindset that will address this issue. Okay, so you're trying to fight fire with fire, but you're not in the right ring. You're in the wrong ring. So are we in the water sales business? Is that what our business is? Do I need to concern myself with every product out there that mimics or says that they're as good or similar or whatever? That depends. If I see myself as needing to do that because I have a prejudice myself, my self-image is tied to my ability to prove to you that I have the best one on the market, and I can't do my job if I don't believe I have the best one on the market, then you have a flawed thinking process, because nobody's become a millionaire because they had the best anything on the market. You can be the best salesperson of toilet paper, the shittiest toilet paper on the planet, and still become a multimillionaire. It's not about the product. Millions of dollars are being made every single day with crap that's out there. So if you think it's about the product, that's your paradigm. That's a condition of one of these quadrants, and it's not the B quadrant. It's the E quadrant, or even better, the S quadrant, that is egocentric, needs to be the best, needs to prove itself, needs to have its self-worth and so forth, distinguish itself and all that. You're not going to sell millions of anything, because there's always somebody better than you, and there's always somebody going to take that mantle because they're in the same game they're in. So rise above that. What's above that? What is above me having to be the best water product? We already know Nikken's is as good as you might need ever. Does it have to be the best? Does it have to be stainless steel? Does it have to be like, what's convincing anybody that has to be that? Because somebody else has it? So what, are you in the missing out, fear of missing out problem? What do they call it? Fear of missing out. MoFo? Yeah, fear of missing out. How many people are in fear of missing out? I don't have the best. I don't have this. God almighty, just let's do what we do best, and let's get good at it, because there's millions to be made at it, right?
So I just want to, again, I'm agreeing with everything you're saying. I just want to play devil's advocate for those that might have it in their head. A comment that might be made is, but if a product, again, if I'm talking to a customer and they found another product that's similar to ours but less expensive, what would be your response?
You get what you pay for.
Mic drop.
I tell you, then you put the fear of missing out on them.
True. That's funny.
The mofo on them.
It's like, think about it. When you're it's like any product, clothes, shoes, whatever. There's always somebody who's got a better deal somewhere. But at some point in time, you got to decide, do I want these shoes or not? So when the salesperson goes out of their way to prove themselves, it actually doesn't build confidence in the brand. When a person says, we stand behind our price, we stand behind our product, we stand behind our company because of the value that we stand behind and have demonstrated for decades in the industry. That's where we stand. We know what we've got. If you want what we've got, here it is, right in front of you right now. You want to go do some shopping and see if you can find something on the cheap that says a lot about what you're looking for. You're not looking for quality, you're just looking for cheap. Well, you know, I've never been that person that I'm, you know, willing to buy something because it's cheap. I want what I want, which is, I don't care what it costs. It's got to deliver. That's what I'm interested in. So tell me what this thing delivers. I can tell you what it does. I can't tell you what it doesn't do. And I don't care how many other items there are in the world that do something similar. I'm not interested in becoming an expert in other products. I want to be an expert in the product I represent. And that's the features and the benefits of what I represent. And by the way, if you like this product, wait till you see what else we have. What else do you have? Oh, this is just the tip of the iceberg. We're the only total wellness solution out there. We've got air, we've got nutrition, we've got sleep. Know anybody who's got sleep issues? See, when you represent the whole and yet stand behind the brand, 47 years of history, origins from Japan, quality, workmanship, the whole thing. You know, Nikken goes way out of their way to provide customer service and so forth. I don't know how many times they've sent somebody a replacement product that they themselves broke, but Nikken doesn't question it. They'll just ship them a new one because they want people to have a great experience. So when you get back onto what's the game we're playing, play this game, because the one you're playing or that you've been used to playing because that's the only game you know, and you see yourself with that identity. If you're going to get stuck in an identity, get stuck in the network marketing identity. Do not get stuck in the small business minded identity. So let's shift the focus. So what exactly is network marketing? What is the B Quadrant? Let's start with the B Quadrant as a principle, business, okay? The best businesses in the world have CEOs that earn millions of dollars, but you will find those CEOs surround themselves with people who are multifaceted and in many ways can skate circles around them. They're technically, like, for instance, I may not know much about Instagram, but if I'm a damn good CEO, I'll find somebody who does. I may not, let's look at a simple example. This is way before our time, but you know, the Ford Motor Company was one of the companies that was responsible for cars in the world, in North America, before there were even roads. And so Ford was not an engineer. He did not have the know-withal to mass produce cars, but he had a vision for it. And so what he did was he assembled a team of engineers that could help him get the job done. Elon Musk, do you think Elon Musk is a rocket scientist? But he's got a friggin' SpaceX. How is that possible? Well, because he knows how to hire the right people. He's a damn good recruiter. That's what makes him a good CEO. So CEO is synonymous with recruitment. In the world of business, CEOs recruit two things: talent and money. Talent and money. Those are the two most important things that a CEO does for a company. Acquires more resources by way of the talent that they hire and the money that they have access to grow their business. So if that's the B quadrant mindset, then what does that mean? We want to become really good at spotting talent, recruiting talent, and attracting it to our business. In our case, it doesn't require a lot of capital. We don't need to be looking for money, but it would be smart to find people who have it. If you had a choice, look for people who have money versus people who don't have money as a business partner. So yeah, not everybody has it, but everybody has access to it. Do I need to remind you of my story of Sylvain Simard? You remember that story? There's a guy who had no money, didn't even have the money to register. That's how bad the situation was. Probably had all the money in the world in his pocket to get him on the bus to meet with me. He looked the part, had the suit, you know, did the whole everything done, you know, as long as it looks right, but he didn't have what it took to get started. But that didn't stop him. When I told him the truth of what it took to get started, that he was going to need a demo pack and a career pack, and that was going to run him about two grand at the time, I said, Nikken doesn't require that. All they require is the registration fee. But as a person who's built this business to a point that I had at that time, which was 20,000 a month, I said, I know that without that, I couldn't have done it. That's what I was taught. That's what we duplicate. It's our business model. Your business is to duplicate. And if you're duplicating empty pockets, you're all just going to be walking around a crusade of people with empty pockets. It's not going to work, is it? How attractive is that? Hey, join my cause, join my business, where we don't make any money, but we just get people to join us who want to make money. No, there's action, reaction. There's a way to make money, and it does take some seed capital, just like it takes seeds to grow a harvest. This business requires something of duplication, so you've got to decide what you're going to duplicate. It's got to be something. If you're duplicating a sport bottle, it's a long road to Tipperary. If you're duplicating a water pack, much smarter. So you got to start thinking business. Now, again, I don't blame anybody who's not thinking that way because they've never been educated that way. But I want to give you guys the education that you can roll into a multinational, multi-million-dollar company. And the longer it takes for you to get through to the side where you're not fighting the information, but you're simply accepting the information, the sooner you will get through to the side that starts solving the problem in your life rather than making it the problem in your life. So it sounds a little bit harsh, a little bit pushy, a little bit direct, but do we have time to waste? Like, do we want to be twiddling our thumbs playing social causes? Or do we want to really start to rip this thing and get a business going? And so this is what, I tell you what, I sat down with the CEO of Nikken and I told him what my goal was last week. It just about knocked him off his chair. And it involves you guys, by the way. And it's more money that's ever been seen in network marketing by this company. So that's my goal for you and for Nikken. 10 million people aren't going to come out of thin air unless we have some pretty big goals. And that means I'm looking for partners who want to roll. And I don't care where you're at. I don't care where you started. I don't care, you know, what your current circumstances are. The past does not equal the future, but I do care about what you're thinking about today. I do care about what you spoon feed in your mind every day. Can you or can't you is your choice. The rules are the same for everybody. So let's talk about what are the rules of network marketing. What is it to play the network marketing game? Recently, we watched The Most Powerful Women in Network Marketing. Did anyone speak about a product in 3 days?
No, that was something I was going to say.
So I guess it's not about the product, because if it was about the product, somebody would have said something about a product. So you can do it with hair shampoo. You can do it with weight loss products. You can do it with Fuller Brush. You can do it with OxyFresh, the teeth cleaning stuff. You can do it with, I mean, you can do it with just about anything. And you might even like the product. That would be a good thing. And feel comfortable sharing it with people on the merits of the products. That would be good. That'd be really good. If you actually love the products, that's even better. But it's not about the products when you're playing the B quadrant. It's about the system. So what am I selling? A product or a system? What's my conversation about? A product or a system? What's my getting started about? A product or a system? You see what I mean? Are the events luxury or are the event schedule a system? Everything becomes about the system. If we go back to the slide before us, what is the business owner? You own a system which you leverage, and your income is not dependent on you. So system. And if you start learning about that, maybe reading some books that talk about this, Eric Worre Go Pro, The 4-Year Career by Richard Brooke, or his wife, her version of The 4-Year Career. Or if you're looking for some PMA, Positive Mental Attitude books, here's a good one, Mach 2 with Your Hair on Fire. I like this book. It's simple, it's to the point, it's network marketing oriented, again from Richard Brooke. So there's tools that'll help you get your brain. I mean, how much, if you have a degree right now from school, how many books did you read or invest in? I mean, 10, 20, 30, 40, maybe 10 a semester, right? 2 semesters a year, that's 24 years. That's 80 books that you've had to put money into and time into so you could pass your grades, so you could qualify to get a job at minimum wage. People are doing that right now, every single day. People are lined up to do that right now because that's what they've been told they need to do, because somehow their ego is being stroked into thinking that's the answer. And then they spend the next 40 years kicking themselves and killing themselves to do something they don't want to do and be a part of something they don't really want to be a part of. Only 20% of the population actually enjoy their work. What happened to the other 80% who went to school, got a degree, and did everything they were supposed to do? So I'm saying, let's short circuit the thing. Let's get on the fast track. Let's not have to play that game of, never getting anywhere for such a long time. So how do you play in the big leagues? In the big leagues, you learn how to leverage. Leverage is your best friend. That means if you don't have the confidence, find somebody who does. If you don't have the skills, find somebody who does. If you don't have the presentation ability, find somebody who does. You guys already have access to that. Any one of you on this call could pick up the phone and reach out to any one of us on this call, and you have access to a support team who could speak circles around anything. And your prospect wouldn't know any better because they don't know. So the ABC leverage is the best thing you got going to getting out of the rat race. And it's the very thing that you need to learn how to do to be in the B quadrant. You've got to learn how to leverage a system. So in our business, Nikken, or for that matter, network marketing, any network marketing business, the network marketing model is the system. Now, within every company, they have their own widgets, their own back office, their own personal web page, their own. Now we have the Nikken sharing app. I hope you guys are starting to learn how to use that, because that thing is going to become more and more important as your business is going to be actually transferred into that, including your onboarding process. So what we have in Nikken is a great product line. Absolutely. We have in that product line packs. Are packs the product, or are they about the system? Why would we have packs? Like, who is a person going to buy a energy pack? What retail customer is going to think, hey, I want one of those. I want that product and that product and that product and that product. What does it do? It looks good. I just want it because it looks good. Nobody's going to do that. So those packs are not retail products. They're for the business. They're to support your system. Make the system work for you. provide people with solutions. Our business system says, start with a pack, 2 is better, 3 is best. That's what I have in this PowerPoint. Why? Because I only sell a system. And then to the degree that someone's willing to embrace it, like a Sylvain Simard, who will sell long distance calling cards in the streets of Montreal for 3 months to make enough money to buy into the system, and then become Nikken's first millionaire in Quebec. Hello, you think there's a relationship? Yeah. So you guys want out of the rat race, you need to play at my level, not your level. It's okay that you're doing what you're doing to get your feet wet, but it's time to get those feet moving a little faster and use your arms too, because the system works if you work it. Can it improve? Always. CEOs are always working on improving their business. They work on their business, not in their business. So, yeah, so as you can read here, what is a network marketing thing? You find core partners to build an organization utilizing a simple process and strategy. We've talked about the process. We've talked about the strategy. If you want to talk more about that, we can, because it's important to really dig into it. You really get to the point where you're very comfortable with it. You know that how to move someone through the process and what's the strategy to help them get up and running. We know there's a minimal suggested purchase of a wellness home pack. That's a minimum suggested initial purchase. So as part of the system, you make a suggestion to get a wellness pack. That's just part of the system. They'll do what they want to do. But if you want to really make the point, tell them, if you're doing this as a business, this is what I recommend you do. Start using that word, I recommend. This is what I did. Go ahead.
I gotta be honest, I think what we, oh my God, I'm sorry. So sorry, that was ridiculous, but there's like a stunning rainbow and I just have to show you guys because, oh my God, no guys, I'm shocked.
Is this one of those? Oh yeah, nice, cool.
Look at that, what?
That's
It's a
stunning.
cloud out of nowhere.
Okay, wait, that's insane. Okay, what I was gonna say was, I think oh my God, there's another, whoa! Sorry, it goes all the way around.
Did you know that a rainbow is actually a circle? If you were in a helicopter, you would see a complete circle.
I did not know that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's a double rainbow. Sorry, look, there's 2 now. Can you see it?
Okay, well, we see one. I don't know that I can see 2. Let me expand on this image
There's
here.
one. And
Take a good picture. Take a good
I'm
picture.
gonna take a photo. Anyways, what I wanted to say was that I think what we honestly need as a team, and I'm realizing for myself, I need a training on how to actually talk to people, because being like, you're so direct in this is actually what, like, you know what to say. And I find that that's where I get stuck, is I need an actual training on how to train somebody.
Okay, okay. Now that's great. And sure, we can do that and record conversations, but the best training there is, the very best training there is put me to work. Let me talk. You will find yourself starting to say things and say it the way I say it. It happened to me. I know because it happened to me. That's how I became so direct and so this and so that.
What about when we need to like train, like getting someone started, training them, you know?
I'm telling you, then you say, Mike, we need started training. We need you to do it at the beginning because we need to see how you do it. We need to hear you say what you say. Okay. Well,
Okay.
I'm not going to do one at a time forever. So let's organize it. How about Saturday? Oh, wait a minute. Didn't we have one of those? Yes, we did.
So
We had a Saturday morning for that.
What I actually suggested was that we start doing an onboarding,
Yeah.
like weekly onboarding, where every
Correct.
person that gets onboarded that week shows up to one of this is how you get started. This is like the very first week.
Okay, so remember, anytime you do a public event, which that's considered a public event when you're doing it for anybody who shows up, that's a public event. Whenever you do a public event, you're always going to have the person who didn't show up because they had whatever other thing going on. And then you're like, did we record it? Can we record it? So just keep in mind that there has to be some understanding of how you're going to leverage this as a system. So the public events, the reason why we have a Nikken rhythm, the daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, semi-annual, and annual events, and your DMOs, those are all part of a rhythm. If you have no rhythm, you have no system. If you have no system, what are you selling? Products. And now you're stuck in the E quadrant. So having a system and creating a system as a team is critical. That's why team building and teamwork is critical. If you watch my presentation from 2 weeks ago, the Nikken kickoff call, that segment that I did, I talk about this, that without that, there's no system, there's no business, there's no momentum, there's no rhythm. So finding your team becomes your first order of business in the network marketing model. Whether you're starting today or you're part of the Sovereign Life team, it's not about the Sovereign Life team. It's about building a team and contributing and adding to the Sovereign Life community. So everybody needs to learn that the key concept of the B quadrant is team. That's the key core concept of the B quadrant, is you leverage to build a team, and then you leverage the team to grow and scale the business. Let me repeat that. Your focus is to build a team. You leverage the tools, the people, the system to build a team, to attract a team. Then you leverage the team to expand or scale the business. You don't do it by yourself. So that's why you guys, all hands on deck, why it's important to work together. Not, oh, I couldn't make the call. Bullshit. You could have made the call. You just didn't commit to the call because you still don't understand the word commitment. The word commitment in your generation, to be frank, is a lost cause. You guys need to add words to make it really what it is. It's like, I don't know, add whatever words you want, but a commitment is the word originates from Latin, which is to cut off all possibilities. So it's to cut off all other possibilities. That's what a commitment is. It's not I will do it as long as it's convenient, and then when it becomes inconvenient, I won't do it. That's not a commitment. Commitment is not a play on words. It's a decision upon which you rest everything. You don't back out of that. So making a commitment to becoming financially free is just as key, as important to your financial freedom as breathing. If it's not, you'll never be financially free. You can have all the wishes in the world. Good luck with turning those wishes into reality, because the law of attraction doesn't care what you wish for. It only observes your actions, your behavior, your thoughts, your feelings. It is a mirror to those things. Wishes is not a commitment. I tell you, I was going to do a talk, and I'll just wrap up maybe with this. I earned my $25 million in my first 30 days. This is true. This is a true story. So let me just stop sharing here. And I earned my $25 million in my first 30 days. Now, had I quit in the first 30 days, would I have earned my $25 million? No, right? But believe me, that opportunity presented itself in spades. So we launched the Nikken business, and 3 weeks into it, I'm picking up our keynote speaker who's going to present at an event that we expect somewhere between 200 and 250 people. This is our third week in January. So we did 2 weeks of pre-launch. Now it's pedal to the metal. We have our public schedule, and the big event is we got our keynote speaker coming in from out of town, the big kahuna from outside of town, who's coming in to drop us, an exciting presentation and validation and so forth. The guy with the big checks, right? So he shows up week 3, and in the car ride from the airport to where we're having this event, he gets a phone call, not we. He gets a phone call from Nikken head office that says, "You've been shut down in Canada. Health Canada shut you down. We're not allowed to sell any products. You can't do your meeting." Now, as I'm hearing this, I'm in the back seat just behind the guy, and I'm picking up on dribs and drabs of what's going on. And he says, and I hear him say, we can't sell sleep systems without magnets. In other words, I guess they were proposing, okay, well, we can maybe take the magnets out and you guys can sell stuff without the magnets, because the point of contention was these magnets. Apparently we ruffled some feathers with magnets and healing and pain and all that stuff. And it got some people pissed off and they complained, or I don't know, maybe it was a plot to slow us down or stop us altogether. I don't know. All I know is that's what I was dealing with in that car on the way to our meeting. Now, CEO time. This is where you put your CEO hat on. Either you go, oh no, we're out of business. I was hoping I could get a new car. Or you put your CEO hat and say, what are we going to do? We got 230 people showing up. We're doing a meeting. We'll figure out the rest after. So we did. We did a meeting with 230 people in attendance, knowing that we were shut down in Canada, that we couldn't even take an order if they wanted to give us one. That's when I earned my 25 million right there, because we made a decision. The decision was, Nikken will figure this out. In the meantime, let's keep going. So what did we solve that night? We got together because we had all these people who wanted to join, because it was a great opportunity. And all of a sudden, that great opportunity in the background is not even an opportunity anymore, because we're not allowed to do business technically. But we figured, you know what? Bullshit. This is a multinational, multi-billion-dollar company. I'm sure they've had bumps along the way. We don't cower. We don't put our tail between our legs and run away and hope that, we don't die. This is where you earn your money, guys. It's in moments like this where you show up, and you show up with faith, and things will be resolved. We do our part, and our part is the show goes on. So we do the show, 230 people, and we get together afterwards. And Bruce, who is one of our business guys, says, hey guys, we can set up a freight forwarding scenario up in Buffalo, ship all the products to Buffalo, and then we'll drive down in caravans and pick them up and drive them across the border. We'll do contraband until we get it figured out. And that's exactly what we did until the end of February. So for the whole month of the rest of the month of January and the whole month of February, we were running contraband across the border, Nikken products. And they had to sign up their distributorship app, but they had to place their order to the US, to that warehouse. Man, that's when the money was, that's when we, in our mind and in our disposition and by the way, that same night, that week, it was a little bit later in the week, we had a meeting from the VP, and guess what? He pissed off so many people, half the downline quit in one meeting. I've run into some of these people. I've run into people who they were there when Nikken was launching in Canada. They were among the first. I've run into them, and they're like, you still doing Nikken? Am I still doing Nikken? I am Nikken. Where the hell have you been? And these guys lost millions and millions of dollars because they didn't have the courage. They didn't have the foresight. They didn't have the vision. They didn't have the discipline. They didn't have what it takes to be a multimillionaire. And they're still twiddling their thumbs looking for the next MLM to come along. What it takes is what it takes. It doesn't matter what company. It doesn't matter what product. What it takes is what it takes. You got to get serious about what you want out of life, and you got to mean it like a heart attack, and go after it like there is no tomorrow, and go after it with the knowledge and the faith that it's yours to have, because you would not have been given the desire if you were not equipped with the means. That's the divine law. So get out of yourself, get out of your ego, get out of your head, get out of all the story that you tell yourself, and start paying attention to what I'm saying. Start hearing my words echoing in your mouth, in your ears, in your mind. Start using the language, start using the directness, start using that power and that vision to start creating and shifting people, because they are measuring what Nikken is by you. They don't know Nikken. Their first impression of Nikken is you. And if you're shaking in your boots because you don't know if they're going to like you, if they're going to say no, of course they're going to say no. Who would say yes to that? Who would give up what they're doing to join you in your crusade of, I don't know? You better know, because if you're asking people to join you, you better know where you're taking them. At least you better have a plan or a vision, maybe not a plan, but at least a vision. Say, you know what? I don't know as well as some of these other people do. Let me introduce you to some of these other people and you can decide for yourself. That's what it takes, guys. It takes a serious commitment and a focus and a vision and a discipline to give yourself instructions and to follow through on them. Not to, oh, well, you know, do you know how many on this team play that game? Oh, well, you know, no, I couldn't make it because why? If I was paying $10,000 for you guys to be on tonight's call, how many people you think would be on tonight's call? Oh, you don't think it's worth 10,000, this information? This information is worth millions. Let me see how well you do 10 years from now. Come back to me with your $100,000 paycheck if you didn't listen. I challenge you. I challenge you to prove that you're better, that you know more, that you think you can do better. Because it's one thing to think you can, it's another thing to have cashed the checks. And I'm telling you, there is a difference. There's a lot of wannabes in this world, but that's all they ever are. So you guys have the chance to roll the dice here, and it's a sure thing. At least that's one thing you can say. Is Nikken a sure thing or not? Are they going to fold up and go away because you didn't become successful? No. They're going to be here whether you choose to be here or not. They're going to succeed and grow because there's people out there that want this as bad as what it takes. They're willing to do what it takes. And are people deserving of it when they succeed? Yeah, because they were willing to do what it took, what most people only wish they could do.
Oh, feeling good. Yeah, so good.
Such a good call.
That's the call I'll be sending to people.
Yeah, should this be the call we send to people? Guys, this guy keeps getting more insane. It's crazy.
All right, well, we don't have to add any more to that right now. There's more where this came from.
Yeah.
Some practical stuff as well that we could drop, but for now, just understand that what we talked about today, it's a shift in thinking. It's a shift in focus. It's a shift in the way you perceive yourself. Stop playing little. You guys are way bigger than that. I expect so much more from you and for you.
Thank you.
You got it. Yeah, we're gonna do it.
I expect more from me too.
Hey, listen, let's do it. There's so much fun in it. And when you're doing it with people you really like, it's the best thing in the world. I mean, imagine you guys going on a trip together to Japan. What the heck? I mean, that would be just
down. I
amazing.
really
You're definitely gonna have to tell me
incentive.
more.
I
Yeah.
need to know what
well,
this incentive is now.
I'm just telling you, it's coming, and it's going to rely on you guys doing the business practices that we've been teaching and talking about. It's all about adding people to the team, helping them advance in ranks. So focus on your thought process around that, because we got to be popping silvers like popcorn. And
Okay.
that's only going to happen when the game is the right game, when you're playing the right game with the right intensity. People want to play. They want to be part of something great and big and fast and going. But when you slow it down, because, well, I don't know, did I do that right? Or did I, you know, what about the filter here? And it's like, oh, geez, that's minutia. Nobody wants to play minutia. Okay.
Love
Mhm.
it.
Okay.
All right. I'll leave it up to you guys to post this and comment.
Guys.
Leave your
Post-
comments,
yeah, send this in the
comments
chat.
below.
And guys,
Leave the comments below.
Subscribe,
think-
like.
No, but I don't think Monday's call was posted either. So post that.
Okay, guys.
Okay, good night,
All right.
everyone. Thanks
See
so
you
much
next
for
time.
a great call.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.